Wait a minute. I missed it. Somehow, I'm not going under the archway. I must not really be going to Disney World then. Oh, man. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to Disney-MGM Studios. I totally almost took out that cone back there, that traffic divider. They always kind of make me think of like Xanadu. And I believe they were also used at Disney's California Adventure. Of course, we have it first though. The world you have entered was created by the Walt Disney Company and is dedicated to Hollywood, not a place on the map, but a state of mind. This is so surreal for me to be back here at this park. I worked here back in '89 when the park originally opened, and it wasn't quite as big. There was no Sunset Boulevard at the time. All we had was the Chinese Theater, the Great Movie Ride, of course, over there. We had Superstar Television, which is one of the other attractions. The Monster Sound Show, I remember that. I don't think Star Tours had not quite opened yet when I was working here. Oh my gosh, the popcorn smell here is just unbelievable. So what is behind me right now is Sid Cahuenga's one-of-a-kind curio shop. The costume that I wore when I worked at the studios here was called the Sid Cahuenga really outlandish blue-looking costume. Now, in addition to this being the Sid Cahuenga's antique place, well, it used to be, it was also the site of the First Aid location. And I remember when I was working over at Soundstage, I inadvertently poured some hot water on my hand, and they told me that I had to walk all the way around the park, that they did not want the guests to see a cast member with an injured hand. At some point I got tired of walking all the way around. I just put my hand in my pocket and I just crossed over, came right in here, got my hand worked on. That was good after that. Now the Brown Derby was actually connected to the restaurant that I worked at, which is right over here. Soundstage restaurant, which I don't think is a restaurant anymore. Working at the Soundstage, I got to see all the fancy food that was being sent out. All I was making was pizza. Right behind me is the Soundstage. Well, what was the Soundstage restaurant? I guess now it's like a meet and greet or something. Look at all these strollers down here. There's like a million strollers. Jiminy Christmas. Yep, that's it. That's where I used to work. Right in there. And also, I remember, it wasn't a restaurant, it was more of a bar, but it was called the Catwalk Bar, I believe. It was up top, and I remember once I walked around up there and got a really interesting view of the inside of the Soundstage. Stage number 5. I used to draw on the little stickers that they would have to identify the difference between a pepperoni and a cheese pizza. And I used to draw little Mickey Mouses on them, and I would put them on top of the box. Apparently one of the animators found one of those and came back to me and said, "Hey, this is how you draw Mickey Mouse." And he showed me the proper way to do it. Oh, there's some stormtroopers. Uh-oh. Right here, that's where it was. I saw Little Mermaid for the first time. Now, of course, The Little Mermaid is kind of a special movie because it really ushered in the renaissance of Disney animation. It'll always be special to me because I saw it here. Well, I was a cast member here at Disney-MGM Studios. I mean, Disney's Hollywood Studios. I mean, Disney's Hollywood Adventure. Did I let it slip? That's what they're going to be changing the name to. Disney's Hollywood Adventure. One of only a couple rides that was open when I first came to work for this park was the Great Movie Ride. There's Warren Beatty's signature here. Dustin Hoffman right there. Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog. I can't really do a Pee Wee Herman. Gosh, this is swell! Gosh, I'm stuck. Minnie Mouse. I will not be doing an imitation of Minnie Mouse. Hulk Hogan, not the Hulk, Hulk Hogan. Oh, the man himself. Charlton Heston. Must be Burt Reynolds or something. Hey, here's Sylvester Stallone. Okay, I've always wanted to do this. I'm gonna compare my hands with Tom Cruise. Let's try my feet first. Wait, my foot's much bigger than his. Wait a minute. Slightly bigger. My hand's slightly bigger than Tom Cruise. I got a little bit more palm down here than he does. No Star Wars here when I originally was working here. The only thing Star Wars that they had was Star Tours, and it hadn't even opened yet. This was the exact spot that I was leaning against that rail when George Lucas walked by. Michael Eisner and him had come out to talk about the opening of the ride, in which George said, okay, seems like a good idea. Once the brief conversation was over, George and his entourage walked right past here and continued on towards the Indiana Jones ride, and at which point I caught up to him and then said, Mr. Lucas, could I shake your hand? And he says, sure. Of course not in that voice. So it was basically right about here, right about this spot right here, where I got to meet George Lucas. So, big thrill for me. Of course, for you, it's like, yeah, whatever. Look at this thing. Once again, I got lucky when it originally opened. Came here and watched the Imagineers put C-3PO together. I stood right over here and just watched them put him together. And there's Rex. What's left of him.
You remind me of someone really famous. Jar Jar Binks.
I remember standing here waiting to get on the ride. Actually, there wasn't anybody here. I was just kind of looking at everything. And I looked around the corner. I could see some of the Imagineers coming, and I turned and I whacked my head right into the hole. Well, some things never do change. We still have the shop, the Star Wars shop, at the end of the ride. Now, when this originally opened, it was not called Tatooine Traders, it was called Endor Vendors. And rather than having a Tatooine theme, which makes absolutely no sense right next to the Ewok village, it was more of the back entrance to the Imperial Shield generator that Han Solo and Princess Leia tried to get into. Now, right behind me here is a spot where I worked years ago, and I hope I don't. Oh my gosh, I'm holding my phone right over this water here. Hope I don't drop it. Right behind me is this spot where I worked on the hot dog wagon. They did not give us a register to calculate the change. I had to do it all in my head, and I was really very terrible at it. And I remember once I was like $18 off, and I think after that they decided that, you know, calculating change is really not your strong suit. You hear that? Can you hear that? It's Star Trek. Ooh, that's Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the opening song for Wrath of Khan. And yep, that's it. That is the spot of my biggest failure, my biggest monetary cashier failure right here on the good old hot dog wagons, which I don't even think they have the hot dog wagons here anymore. Another interesting story that I have that I remember is I once was sitting in the cast area in the back, kind of relaxing, chilling out, and I noticed that Mickey Mouse, a character dressed as Mickey Mouse, was walking by, and I jokingly yelled out to him, I said, "Hey Mickey, where's that 20 you owe me?" At which point he stopped for a second, and then he made a rude gesture to me. Oh gosh. All right, so I think that's going to conclude my tour down memory lane of working at Disney-MGM Studios. I mean, Disney's Hollywood Studios. I mean, Disney's Hollywood Venture. So I hope you enjoyed my tour, my memories of working here at formerly known as the Disney-MGM Studios. I will always call it Disney-MGM Studios. It's just a habit. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
This will be a day long remembered.
Right shoulder, right shoulder, lock,
Am I too dark? I can't. Oh my goodness. Come on, phone. Work.